are listening to a High Standard production.
All right, man. Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building, and this is One-on-One with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, content creators, curators, and people you should know. And right now, man, I'm speaking with somebody, a truly, truly dope person. I just recently figured out about this person, and then ever since then, I've just been indulging myself in all of his work, seeing what he's doing. I'm talking about New Jersey's own Kizerilla. How you doing, my brother?
What's up, man? What's going on, dude? Yeah, doing great.
How is I'm asking everybody because you know, this is definitely odd times and everything, but how has COVID been treating you, man?
You know what? I sometimes don't even want to say it, but it's been actually pretty good. I mean, for artists,
yeah.
It's and working in animation has been like really a lot of work.
Yeah, that's the constant that I've been seeing is where for like artists or just people who are able to put out their own work, that work from like the crib or whatnot, like they're able to like buckle down. Like it's just giving you more time to focus on whatever project you're working on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and also you can't really be close quarters with a lot of the people in live action. So when it comes to like making a music video or making something you know, animated that usually would be live action, they're coming to artists.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why we're getting so much work, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know this. So it's like, right. So usually in when it's depression, when people are going in some, you know, they're going toward when they're down, that's when we start getting more work because it's like the stuff that we do is like a form of escapism.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For people out there, for the masses, which is really cool.
So I do want to like what I always do is I always make sure I'm giving people their flowers, right? So here's where I want to make sure I give you your flowers because, and this is where I attest this to Black people in general. Our mindset and the way we think is a little bit different, right? So obviously I got introduced to you through the Fast Food Fighters, but like that thought process and that concept behind it is just taking these fast food restaurants and then putting it out, making them in an anime form and putting it out and just like, but really like putting that work in with them and making them look like have different characteristics. Like it was so dope. Like when I saw it, I was like, yo, I saw it like I think early in the morning on Instagram or maybe Twitter, one of the two. And I said, you know what? I got to introduce this to my peoples, right? And so I put it on our Geek Set page. And I didn't think that it was going to take off because I was getting my kids ready for like for the Zoom schools and everything. So I posted it, did my thing. I posted in a couple of groups that I was in. And then when I came back, it was like, it blew up. It was like 1,000 at that time. It was like 1,000 comments and everything. But this is where I think, this is where I attest your work to why it blew up. Because not only was it dope, but I posed the question. I was like, all right, this is it. This is before you sent me the video, but I was like, what's the storyline? And the stories that people like came up with was so dope. But I think that's what it was. People saw your work and was able to say, oh yeah, Wendy, this is that person. Oh yeah, and then KFC, the Colonel is gonna be that. And so I want to make sure I give you your flowers on there. Now I know you already got the videos out, but for the people who didn't get a chance to see the videos, what made you do that? How did this all come about?
I was just, I mean, like I'm a pretty silly dude. So Ronald McDonald, I was like, what if I draw Ronald McDonald and have him pose kind of like, somebody who comes from Compton or something like that, I have him in like I don't know if anybody noticed, but I got him like doing some little gang signs.
Yeah. He throwing it up.
Yeah. And so maybe it means something to him, maybe his set or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. But it was I had whenever I'm drawing characters, I'm always silly and I'm always like basing on some experience that I've dealt with in my lifetime, and I'm like trying to work that into like these existing characters. Yeah, I mean, like it was just something I did for fun, really. I had no clue that people were going to respond to Ronald McDonald as much as they did. But once they did, I was like, okay, well, then maybe I should do more of this, right? And so that's the reason why, you know, Burger King and Wendy and all this other stuff started. And then I started thinking about stories. It's like for all these characters, I'm like, oh, okay, well, what if Wendy, she's being trained with Ronald McDonald by Colonel Sanders, right? He's the but when I was looking at your commenters on your Facebook page, I was like, wow, some of this stuff is better than what I was thinking of. Like, yeah.
People got deep in. I think like we talked about it on our most recent podcast episode, and I was like, I think collectively everybody already said, okay, Wendy is definitely the antagonist. Like she is the main character in regards there. I know that everybody fell in love with Jack in the Box, but I was like, Jack in the Box is like that character, like you don't know whose side he's on because like he could be good, he could be, but he's really for himself.
He's definitely he's kind of like the Wolverine anti-hero type dude.
You
know, he just work. He's like a hired assassin in a way. It's like I mean, the way I see it in my head is more of like if so the Colonel is training Ronald and Wendy to go out and destroy his competition, right?
Okay.
And so what if they can't manage to do that, then that's when Jack comes in as an assassin and he finished the job up, right? Panda Express to work under Colonel as his assassin, as his warrior, but he learned some things about the Colonel that was like, okay, it's very questionable, so he decided to part ways and stuff like that. It's these things I literally come up with without actually writing them down. I just sort of like they're in my head. They're always in my head. Like your commenters, they actually type this stuff up. Most of the stuff, like that video that's on TikTok. Which that people are responding to pretty well. I'm like, wow, okay, it's interesting. It was just it literally was just made up on the spot.
Oh, that's dope. I thought you legit wrote it down because when the way you did it, and I was like, oh yeah, he thought of because
most of those videos, man, that I put up online, a lot of that stuff is just sort of made up.
Well, so this was our theory. So we said Wendy and Wendy is the antagonist. So we said pretty much the crew is Wendy, Popeyes, and Panda Express, right? So Panda Express is like the grunt because every crew got the grunt, like the big grunt on there. Wendy is like the main character. Popeyes is like the Sasuke, like if you watch Naruto, like he's like you know, like but that's the crew. And then like they're being trained by Colonel, but Colonel secretly is the bad guy, right? Like he's secretly the mastermind of it all. And then we said that Pepsi and Cola, those were we actually said those were the ones that kind of like in G.I. Joe, you know, like the white ninja and the black ninja, like they was trained by the same people, but they pretty much just go whoever pay them, they're mercs. Whoever pays them. And then we said Taco Bell, he's kind of like just like he pops in, like he's like kind of like Rocky Raccoon, like he pops in, he's the gun guy, he's the strategist, you know, and everything like that. And then Ronald was kind of like he's not the main villain, but he's a big enough villain that always messes up the plan. Like you always got to deal with Ronald. So that was our theory breakdown of it.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love that, man. That's really cool that you guys came up with your own like ideas based on these characters. I'm like, man, shoot. I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, I'm gonna go with these guys. I should go with these guys more than what I'm coming up with. You know?
Now, with you being a character design artist, a lot of the times are they just I always wanted to know this. Do the people come to you with the story, or do you also have hands in the story?
It's a lot of both. A lot of the all of the above. They'll come up with, you know, they already have like, you know, writers will always come up with like descriptions of these characters based on what's happening in the story and all that stuff, and I have to add to the story. as a character designer, and come up with my own, reasons on why they're wearing certain colors, and why they're posed, and why they have expressions the way they stuff like that. It's so I'm kind of coming up with my own stories. The amount of pouches, if they have like number of pouches on them, and all types of stuff, right? So it's a collaborative experience usually in animation whenever we're designing characters, for animation. But it's fun, man. It's really, really fun. I get to work with so many creatives, and I've learned so much in my 10 years of working in the animation industry, man.
Yeah, no, I seen that. And, so even just like listening to your story, like, being from New Jersey, but then like, taking that, like you got contacted, if I'm not mistaken, Warner Brothers reached out to you with a job offer, and you was like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
And, you know? Wait, what told you this?
Listen here, I do my work, man. I do my research. Like, so that's and that's why I enjoy doing these interviews, because like I know, like, even just coming from like, like just being a character artist, like you're going to have those people that just reach out to you just off of that and just, I just saw the Food Wars and then take it from there. But I wanted to be engaging in a dope interview. So I was like, I do my research, but like I thought that was dope, because you even outlined, you were saying like, okay, Warner Brothers reached out to me, and I just went with it immediately, because you was like, if you think too much on it, you may miss opportunity, or you may pull yourself from it. Because you were saying how like, my family loves me and they want to keep me here, but I want to make sure that I take this opportunity and everything.
Wow. Are you an artist? You must have been on like some of my videos. Like you've been
listen, I just do my research, man. I just do my research.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, man. I used to be a security guard working in Jersey at the docks. I used to guard like huge car ships and salt ships and container ships and shit like that, and stuff like that. Can I curse? Or no?
Yeah. You curse. Yeah.
I was taking like Xerox paper to work, and when I wasn't on patrol, I would draw on that Xerox paper like ideas that I had in my head, and then when I got home from work, I would scan those drawings in, color them up in Photoshop, and then post them online with some small description based on the idea. After a while, a lot of those drawings started making their way around the internet, and the right people started seeing them, like Warner Brothers, and a couple other studios. But Warner Brothers called me up first, and they were like, I still don't know how the hell they got my number. they got my number, and they called me up, and they're asking me, hey, this is Warner Brothers. This is Bobby Page from Warner Brothers. We wanted to know if you wanted to work with us as an artist. I was like, ain't no damn Warner.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, did you have that moment? You was like, get out of here! Like, who this?
Yeah, I'm hanging up. Who this? I don't know that many white people. This is scary. I don't know, but it was really Warner Brothers, and they wanted me to work for them, and but as a storyboard revisionist, and then maybe work up to a storyboard artist and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I guess I can do that. So 2 days later, I moved out to here to California, and I've been working in animation ever since. And like time, like I was saying, if time can be the enemy of everyone if you let it, right? Because if you give yourself too much time for anything, you'll talk yourself out of everything. And so I decided not to do that. I decided to not think about the reasons why I never lived in California and I would not be able to live here. I just decided to move. Also, I didn't give my family too much time, because even though they would have been happy, they would have done the same thing, tried to talk me out of not leaving them and staying in Jersey and working as a security guard, but being happy that I got that call. Oh, it's cool, you got a call, but what do you really know about California, really? I'm like,
exactly. That's like the family. Like they have great intentions, but like they don't want to see you. Like they immediately will think about, all the worst scenarios, and so they're going to try to shield you from it, but like not knowing like when you're in an artistic world, whether it is music or like you said, animation, whatever the case may be, there is a level of you have to believe in it and enough that you're just going to take that leap, you know. And I think that that's dope.
Man. You got to take it, man.
Yeah, and so like, and like that made me start thinking, because like as I'm looking into it, I'm like, all right, like okay, so you got that call from Warner Brothers, but then you went along and start working with Sony, Marvel, Cartoon Network, WB, what we already said, with W Classic Animation, all the way up until the point where now, like I said, you are a character design on the Boondocks, which is culturally like held high. Yeah. How did that introduction happen?
Last year, well, I don't work on the Boondocks now, but like a couple of months ago, I left Sony, but I still work for Sony. Can't say what I'm working on. Okay. But yeah, they called me up, just like all these other studios, man. They be calling you.
Reach out.
Yeah, and I'm like, how you guys getting my number? I don't, I'm scared. I'm afraid. But they're $1 billion company studio, so they get you know. But yeah, they wanted me to work on the show. Aaron Magruder was interested, and he saw my work online. He's a big comic book fan, and he knew that I was a black dude. He knew that I had there's a good chance that I had some connections and interactions with other black folk. Right, which I have. I grew up with nothing but black people. So yeah, man, and I was like freaking honored that he called me up and to work on the show last year. This is back when I was in Jersey visiting my family. Yeah. So, but yeah, and then I came back out here to work in-house at the studio. And I was just like, dude, developing the Boondocks just for Aaron, and he would come in every once in a while. I was like, oh, that's Aaron. What's up? He's a little guy, but he's a really cool guy, man. Really cool.
He seems it. Like I said, I got an opportunity to interview Carl Jones, and so like just chopping it up with him and just talking about that. Like it's funny because it's like. He was saying he was telling me the story on how like he ended up being the voice of Thugnificent, because he was saying like when he was writing it and drawing it, he was drawing it for Ludacris, and because when you do the character design, you have to kind of like animate how you want the character to sound. So like he was doing the voice so that way the animators who was doing the motions can make sure like the voice and like how he says things is showing it up. And he was saying like when he was doing it, like it didn't fall through to get Ludacris on there. But then he was like, they was like, well, man, look here, you doing it well. And so now I think about that for every person as a character designer. I'm like, look, like you can be thrusted into being a voice without even knowing it, because you're just trying to make sure the right product is done.
Yeah, I mean, like the majority of the character designers and animators and storyboard artists that I know, they're characters. You know, they have this personality that's just, you know, magnetic. We're all silly people, right? We're all thinking of how this character should act, how they should move, and all this stuff, right? And so if I'm thinking of a character, like it's just an automatic. Like I think I know how Ronald McDonald sounds in my mind. I know how Wendy sounds and all this stuff, right? We're good mimics. We're just good. We have to be incredibly smart. Because we have to learn as much. We have to learn every day or in every single week about something new that we're being introduced to. Yeah. So we have to do our research on that particular thing in order to draw it up. You know, and then sort of extract it and the way we've modified it in our brains, and in order to have it not only make sense to us but everybody else, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm always thinking of characters, you know, like my father's girlfriend talks like this. How are you? How are you, man? And you know, And then like because I'm from Jersey, there's so many different people that speak like have accents.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, like I've just absorbed that stuff in, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all characters, dude. We're very silly people. So I can understand Carl Jones like doing the voice.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Going back to the fast food fighters, was Wendy's the only company that actually commented on it?
No, actually, it was Wendy's. It was Panda Express. What's the name? Some other fast food company that I didn't draw a character for. They hit me up just recently. I'm like, what?
They want to be included. They're like, hey.
Yeah, how come we're not? I think it was Chick-fil-A. Might have been Chick-fil-A.
So I saw a lot of people requesting Chick-fil-A. People was like, oh man, I want to see like a assassin cow.
Yeah. I have some ideas for Chick-fil-A, which is interesting.
You got to follow it up with more, man.
Yeah. I got, and Starbucks. People keep mentioning the siren from Starbucks. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm actually working on it right now.
Well, see, here's the thing. So, are you familiar with Marco Bernard, the one he did like those swagged out Lion King characters? It was like Scar, super dripped out, and like you. So he had same situation as you. He had did these swagged out Lion King characters, and we had posted it on our page. At first, we only just posted Mufasa and Simba. And then like I'm like literally like chicks was like, oh man, Mufasa, get it, Simba, Zaddy, and shit like that. It was crazy, right? Okay. So then he did a whole thing. He called it Pride Lands. He had did a whole like a whole line. Like he did everybody from Timon to Simba to Pumbaa. Like he did everybody. But it started off with the two. He had to continue to build. And I was like, after I started seeing the response, I was like, yeah, he gonna have to add some more people because people was bringing up Papa John's. There was people like so Chick-fil-A was the most one. People was like, where's Chick-fil-A at? Like,
yeah. I mean, like, dude, I get I don't know how many DMs every day. Hey, do you think you can add Chick-fil-A to the? I love your stuff. Do you think you can add Chick-fil-A? or do you think? I mean, Starbucks, needs some love. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I'll get to it. I got like 5 things I'm working on outside of the fast food, but I'm gonna definitely get to it. But yeah, man, people love it, man. People love the fast food characters. I had no clue though.
You want to know the funniest part of the fast food characters? And I don't know if you saw, but I in our post I had posted. I was like, I don't know if either we're just old or we're just a little bit more socially conscious, but like. The Taco Bell Chihuahua got like the most flack. Like there's people like, oh my God, why the Chihuahua? And I'm like, y'all don't remember your Kato Taco Bell? Like, wait, like,
yeah.
And it was like a lot of people who never seen it. Like that was.
Wow.
It was that and Popeyes. People didn't realize like that was based off of the Popeyes lady. So I'm like, maybe I was like, either we're just old and like that Taco Bell commercial was that, or we're just more socially conscious. Because I'm like, I didn't see, like, I knew immediately what it was and everything. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I am on a couple of platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and I think on Twitter. People they ask me, hey, how come you made the Popeyes? Who is this Popeyes person in the first place, and why is she black? And I'm like, well, I mean, the Popeyes. The mascot of Popeyes right now, she's a black lady, right? Right. I decided to make her like a badass, cybernetic, female. She's like, she will kick your ass. She's like one of the strongest characters in my story, right? Because one of the reasons I'm black, right? You gotta be. So yeah, I mean, like. Some people didn't like that I made her black, it's fried chicken and stuff like that.
But I'm like, if you see the commercial, it's literally the lady in the commercial.
Yeah, and that's the lady from the commercial. That's true. That's the real simple reason why I made Annie the mascot. Right. But the person that trained her is actually Popeye. Right. I have Popeye as like the person that's the reason why she's so badass and could fight as well. Why she has the big ass forearm in the first place is because Popeye has those big forearms, that were massively kick. And he also used to be the mascot back in the 1980s. So he was?
I didn't know that. Somebody had said that in one of the comments. I was like, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, back in the day he was. Popeye the reason why Popeyes is called Popeyes in the first place, they said is because of Gene Hackman's part in The French Connection. Popeye wasn't.
Okay.
I forgot his last name, but yeah. But I'm like, but that's the same logo from Popeyes the comic. What are you talking about? I don't know. But and then they ended up using Popeye in the 1980s as the mascot. So that's the reason. There's always a reason why I'm injecting a lot of what I put in my cartoons.
Well, most people do that because most people, like most artists, it's like the little subtle details that people don't catch on that artists that they put in there, and it's like once somebody catch on to it, they're like, I'm glad you seen that.
Yeah, like the Chihuahua, for instance. The reason why he's a canine bomb and recon guy is because canine bomb and recon. Think about it. but tacos also kind of give you the explosive. So it's and there's other little small things, microscopic things that I put in my stories as well.
Hey, I want to talk to you today about GeekSetPodcast.com, the only place that blends hip hop culture and geek culture together in one place, and the only place to get your official Geek Set swag. Go to our shop and view our wide selection that we offer, from the No Dubs collection, Big Bit Tees, Talking That Geek-ish, and more. Today, use code Deuces during checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. Then, take a picture and post it on Instagram using the hashtag GeekSet for a chance to be featured on our page and a chance to win extra deals in the future. So don't hesitate. Drop by the website today. Listen to our latest episode, watch our latest videos, read our latest reviews, and shop with your favorite geeks. GeekSetPodcast.com.
So a lot of your characters, though, in general, are anime inspired. Are you heavy in anime?
They look very. I guess I get that a lot. People think I watch a lot of anime. I actually watch just as much as probably my father. But no, I do watch a good number of anime cartoons.
Okay.
But they don't inspire my art too much.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the action. I love action oriented anime cartoons, but that I can draw in that style.
So where did your style originate from then? Because your style is, like I said, even though like I said it is anime, but you have a style like to the point where if I see it, I'm gonna like, oh, that's Kizer. Is that the point? So where did your style come from?
Just from a number of influences, dude. Like I'm influenced by pretty much it all. So, but I love like mostly the old stuff, like Norman Rockwell. I'm a big Norman Rockwell fan. I love J.C. Leyendecker. Like a lot of these Saturday Evening Post illustrators from back in the day. Sargent. I'm a big graffiti fan. I inject a lot of graffiti in my designs. Art. It may not be apparent, but it's definitely in there because I grew up around that. And just a whole bunch of different things all in one, kind of jumbled in one that kind of made the style that you see on the internet. But yeah, that's what I do, man. It's just like I think everybody kind of takes that in, man. But everyone. I feel like everyone's an artist. Everyone draws, right? It's just the way in which we're able to develop what we draw out in order for people to be sort of affected by it.
Yeah,
that's the thing that that might be that's interesting to the eye. Like that drawing is just taking in the reality around us and then drawing it back out the way we see it in our heads. And it's never the same because we're all individuals.
Yeah, right? everybody has a different way they see things.
Yeah, and then we have to develop it to the point where it's recognizable, and it's also enticing to the eye, so that people want more.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, so here's what I do try to always stray away from cliche questions, but because you don't have a lot of interviews out there, there's a few cliche questions that I do want to ask you. So cliche question number one that I want to ask you, do you recall like what was the thing that actually just got you into art? Like what got you into like I want to do art?
My father's an artist himself, right?
Okay.
So yeah, my father, he paints, he can oil paint, but he's also a singer. Been in the theater ever since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I grew up around theater, music, and just him painting portraits and stuff like that. Okay. I liked the creation of, you know, portraits and little cartoon characters that he would draw more than anything else that he was creating. Yeah. I thought that was magic. Okay. So that's the reason why I started drawing in the first place. Plus my brother drew a little bit, and I was like, ooh, he's drawing these little curly haired Inspector Gadget looking characters. I wanna draw what he's doing. Right. Yeah.
That's dope. So it's kind of like it runs in the family a little bit.
Yeah, and then also Rod Serling from Twilight Zone. That Twilight Zone inspired me immensely. Right, just coming up, him being way before his time, and coming up with these stories that didn't come out until like 10, 15, 20 years later in movies and stuff like that. And I was like, I like him. I think he's really interesting. Nobody's really paying as much attention to his stories. Right. How far ahead of time, like he thought way ahead of time. Like he must have been time travel. Something's going on here. So I was like, I pay a lot of attention. So that's one of the reasons why when it comes to any character, mm-hmm. I'm always going to come up with my own take based on that particular character. Rod Serling was a big reason for that, and H.P. Lovecraft, of course.
Yeah, because that's what I noticed. Like looking deeper into a lot of your characters, like you always have some sort of storyline with it, right? And I think that because of that, it adds more depth to your characters, because now when I'm looking at it, like even like when you at first glance you look at it, oh, this is just Popeye, Snuff, and Thanos, but then you're like, oh wait, there's a whole story. Like you was like, oh, he snapped away, and like now he's pissed off, and I'm like, oh shit, like hey, okay, I can now I understand his anger. I see like his face. I see why he want to snuff Thanos and everything. Like it's dope that like how you put those storylines together.
Yeah, I mean, like I try to make the silly later on to your mind feel serious. It's like I was going into it with the Popeye Thanos thing, and then I realized this is pretty deep and interesting. Yeah. I want to follow it now. Continue this. Can you continue it? Yeah. I'm always asked to continue stories that in the beginning I'm like, well, this is silly, but let's try to finesse it so that it's interesting, you know, to the mind that they want to see more.
Yeah. So at what point did you you got into it because of, you know, your brother and your pops and like what you were influenced by. At what point did you say, you know what, I think I can do this for a living, and really started like wanting to do this?
I guess when Warner Brothers called me, really.
Okay.
I didn't my thoughts about art wasn't, I was just going to be, you know, I was going to do it as a hobby, you know. I was going to do it on the side while I worked my 9-to-5 job. I didn't think that I was going to be a professional animator or professional in the animation industry, because I thought that you had to go to school for it. Like I thought you needed, you know, to go to a university for animation. Right. You know, I didn't think they were just hiring black dudes from like a whole nother state, 3,000 miles away, to work in animation. Turns out that was incorrect thinking. I shouldn't have thought it. So, but yeah, then I realized after a while. Well, when I first got there, I was like working harder than anybody else because I didn't want to go back to working as a security guard, right? And so, yeah, I was taking in as much as I possibly can. I was like, what are the background artists doing? What's the prop artists doing? Character designers? I love you, character design. I know you're not working on my show, but I'm gonna love whatever show you're working on. So because I don't want to go home, I'm not going home.
Right.
Right. And I remember a couple of months after I started working at Warner Brothers, his director, his name was Jay Oliva. He asked me, "Hey, Coran, so what did you do before you got in animation?" I said, "I used to be a security guard." You guys hired a security guard, you didn't know it? Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's too late. I already know. Can't send me on.
So you already activated my badge. I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got the badge. I mean, I have access to them. You know? But yeah, man, I got into animation just and knew that I could be a professional artist. As soon as like about 2 days into working at Warner Brothers, and I was like, I'm just going to learn as much as I possibly can, learn as much as the people here or even more.
Right.
You know? But as Black folk, you kind of have to do that anyways, right?
Yeah.
So the animation industry is kind of filled mostly with white people, and Asians, and there's very little Black people in the industry, and because of that, and because of course stereotypes exists, because people automatically have these preconceived ideas of who people are before they even meet them.
Yeah.
It causes you to work harder. I feel like Black people are just naturally about the hardest working, people in existence. Like this,
because we've been conditioned to have to. Like that's what I was telling Mike when we started this. We started this as a podcast, and we was like, one of the things that were like what influenced us to start this, and it was around the time when Black Panther came out. So this is how early this podcast and this platform is. When Black Panther came out, and the commercial was running, and in the commercial, Run the Jewels was the soundtrack for it. Killer Mike and them, right? And I just remember, I'm like, now I listen to all these podcasts, all these other YouTube channels that tell you about like, superhero characters, what's coming into Marvel and everything like that. But nobody was highlighting that. And I was like, no, y'all don't understand. This is Run the Jewels, a boom bap group, grassroots group that is the main song for a major release by Disney. Like this, and I was like, you know what? The reason why they're not talking about that is because they don't see that importance like I would. As a Black person, a Black artist, a Black, podcaster, like I'm seeing this, a Black geek, I'm seeing this different. Then, people like, I tell everybody all the time, like, here's my like, I got Black Panther in my top 5 MCU. Not because of just the writing, because I know, like, in writing, there are some other Marvel movies that were better, but this movie changed a lot culturally. Like, when you think about, like, fandom, and you think about, like, certain things like Star Wars, right? It's not weird to see somebody dress up as Darth Vader or like Luke Skywalker, right? They got this fandom. You got all this other stuff that's fandom. This was one of the first things that I saw where Black people came out dressed up as a superhero, dressed up in African wear and African attire. And I was like, this is different. This is why this is so culturally important. And so I was like, in the realm of a Black geek, like, yes, you have true geeks and you have the Black nerd that is displayed on TV. But what about the cool nerd? What about, the niggas that talk like the barbershop? Me and my peoples, if we'll argue about Goku and Vegeta, you swear we're talking about Kobe and LeBron. The way that we're arguing, like, is that passionate, but it's accurate. Like, so we're not saying false information about. So we have the geek, like we have the notoriety in the geek because we're saying true stuff. But then, but we're talking like us, we're able to compare somebody in anime like, no, Goku, he the Jay-Z of anime because of like, but you're not gonna get that anywhere else. And I think that's where this birthed from, and I think that's why we've been so successful because we approach it like that.
It's great. It's an awesome show, dude. I'm really happy that we have this platform where we can tune in and watch people, talk about things that we can relate to. But also, we get to it's like it incorporates the geeky stuff that I'm definitely into, So I love I'm a big information guy. I like taking in data, as much information as I possibly can. That's the reason why I say to my friends, I want to live until I'm 800 years old.
Right.
You know, because it's so much to learn. It's so much to create. But yeah, man, if I can tune into like podcasts like yours and get you know, the geeky stuff, but also get like the relatable stuff that I was growing up with when I was watching like the box on TV.
Right.
You know, and dude, this it's awesome. You guys are great.
But this is where I was like, oh yeah, your mind is different though, because so I was just, like I said, doing my research, saw like, so you, even though you grew up around graffiti, you didn't really do graffiti or any spray can work until January, where you hooked up with what was his name? I'm botching on his name, but he taught you how, like, you guys did the Marvel versus Capcom thing.
Yeah.
Like, so he showed you how to do it, and immediately you caught on. And I'm like, yeah, that's different right there, because like, even though like you said, like, this guy's been doing it for however long he's been doing it, when you look at the mural in general, it didn't look like you could tell the difference. Like, no, it was dope on both sides, and I was like, that's dope.
Yeah, that was fun, dude. That was my first time ever doing it. The mural with Kipto. Yeah, he taught me a little bit, you know, a little on how to use the spray can, and you know, and how to get thick lines and thin lines. And I was like, oh, okay, I see how you do this. You know, I didn't know there was a little science behind it, but okay. Yeah. So after a while of doing that on the wall, I was like, okay, I think I have my own. I'm gonna come up with my own way of like doing this. I won't be able to do it the way you do it, but I figured out a way of doing it just as fast. Yeah. Right. And there were some guys that were like that were doing some spray painting right next to us. They Mexican American guys. They just like came up to us and they were like, "Yo, Vato, this is cool, bro. It's really good, man. Like, wow, bro. Like, you doing like Marvel versus Capcom thing." And my friend was like, "Yeah, this is his first time." He said, "Yo, Vato, it's really good, bro. It's like your first time. Can you look at my stuff?" So yeah,
dope.
Yeah,
that was a really good impression, bro.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. I mean, dude. When it comes to art, man, it's the only thing that I'm able to like sort of process faster than anything else. Usually, like anything else, it's like I don't know. Cooking, what is cooking? unless I treat it as if it's an art, which it is, then I'll learn it much faster.
You pretty much got to change the perspective of how it is. I don't know if you're familiar with this content creator by the name of Cynthia Luciette. She used to be on like All Def Digital and everything. I interviewed her, and she kind of said the same thing. She does like comedy, and she was like, you know, she was like, artists, there's certain artists who look at the world in music, and certain people who look at the world in artwork. She was like, I look at the world in comedy, and she was like, because I'm living in that realm, I'm able to digest a simple interaction and turn it to this long form comedy sketch or whatever, you know. And I said, that's pretty dope, because like, you get into that mindset. You get into that mindset of, all right, this is like everything else, and now your influence is coming from everywhere. And I think once you're in that pocket, that's when you're just really like floating, like you out there just floating.
Yeah. I mean, like comedy, like, dude, I respect so many comedians because they're able to take, you know, what we see around us. They're able to take the drama and the stupid stuff and all the different experiences that they're dealing with, and they're able to make it comedic, and then go up on stage and tell this comedic version of their reality, and people are experiencing that. They come to this particular spot in order to laugh, to engage, and to relate, and all this stuff is like an exchange or conversion of all types of emotions, right? The comic is there in order to please themselves, because I feel like people are naturally narcissistic. Like people are naturally sort of people. You don't know anything about anyone else as much as you do yourself. Right. So usually it starts with yourself. Like, so the reason why the comic is on the stage in the first place is because they feel good making those people in the audience feel great, laugh, you know. And the reason why those people in the audience in the first place is because they want to feel good,
Right.
laughing. Laughing makes you feel good better than
Right.
usually crying. So, but I have friends who are comedians, and I just love the way they look at the world because it's very much the way I do. They take in the world and they're able to modify it, and this is the way they see things, and then the canvas is the stage, and then they and people are experiencing their art while they're on stage, and emotionally affected by it,
Right.
which I think is interesting. So yeah.
All right. So cliche question number 2.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the industry that you like, I would love to work with? Like who would be your dream collaborator that you would love to work with?
Let's see. Who would I like to work with? Let's see. That's the hardest question. Maybe Brad Bird. I love Brad Bird. Who the guy who created, of course, maybe I don't know if your audience knows, but I know the Incredibles. But yeah, I mean, maybe I would like to work with Tyler Perry on something.
Okay. That'd be dope. I don't think he's jumped in the animated world yet, so that would be dope.
I know. My sister was telling me that. He said, "Yeah, thanks." I said, "Well, maybe we can work on something." Because
you know what? So I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm not a Medea fan. However, if there was a Medea anime, I may buy into that.
Yeah. I mean, it probably wouldn't be Medea. I mean, I've watched my mother used to have the VCR tapes,
right,
where she would, or the DVD tapes where she would watch Medea on stage and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It probably wouldn't be Medea, but it would be something else, some other characters that I would work with. But yeah, Steven Spielberg. Maybe the guys who created Stranger Things, I'd work with them.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Right now, I'm developing something with this comedic actor that most people know. All right.
Now, I got a question because most of your work that I'm seeing that you have been doing, it's just been either something that came from another property or anything like that. Are you? And like I said, share whatever you can share. Are you working on anything that's just your original brainchild and that you're working on that you were trying to get out there?
Yeah. I got a close buddy that I've been working with for about 20 years. Awesome. We got 20 years worth of stuff that we've developed. For cartoons, for live action, from TV, for everything, comedy, drama,
right?
But yeah, we've been developing for a minute, but we're really developing it right now. Every studio in the world, for some reason, in the last couple of years, have been calling me up and asking me if I'm interested in developing a show. So I'm like, yeah, sure. I got some stuff.
Yeah.
I got a lot of things. So yeah. So
that's dope. I think it is what it is the work, man, because people see, I think there has to be people in studios that respect somebody who can take something of theirs and turn it to something even doper, right? And especially with this, in this world of how social media works. So even with Wendy's, right? So think about Wendy's and their evolution. People follow their Twitter page just for their clapbacks because they're like, oh, Wendy's be like, you never know what they're gonna say. They are in it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And so because of that, they're into they put out a mixtape. Wendy's, actual Wendy's did this whole they're whoever runs their social media team is hilarious. And just if you're talking shit about Wendy's, they're gonna clap back and they're gonna throw shade at Burger King, they're gonna throw shade at McDonald's, is like that, right? So I'm thinking all right, so if they have people like that, there has to be somebody oh crap, look, Kaiser, he made us anime, and that look really dope. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can work with him on something, in the future, right? Maybe it's because what I realize is a lot of companies, they have different sections now. We're like, okay, we have our corporate, but you know what, to appeal to the kids or to appeal to what's going on now, maybe we do like we do, you know, we bring on Kaiser, have them do like a quick anime, you know, commercial that we only put on social media. Like it's stuff like that I'm seeing. And you know, so it's like companies now, they're reaching out just to build that bridge. Like, hey, Kaiser, you got something you can work on? Because then at some point they can call on like, oh, we got Kaiser. Let's see what we can do with him.
Yeah. I feel like that's definitely happening. That's totally happening, man. I mean, 2020, I mean, it's the year of Corona, but it's also been, and I'm not like, this is not, but it's been the year of Coran, and that's my name. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's definitely, it's a lot of work, man. It's sometimes it's slightly intimidating.
Yeah.
But
especially if you didn't think that it was going, like it was just a hobby and for things to come so fast, man.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate, man. I'm always saying thank you. I think I might say thank you a little too much to most people, but I am very, man. I'm happy that people like my stuff. They don't have to. I'm sorry about happy.
And this is where I was like, where I was like, yep, it's definitely the work that you're putting in, because even with you just jumping on, like you legit probably just jumped on Twitter. I think it was this year, right? April.
Yeah,
April this year. And I was like, when you look at all the other people who are putting their artwork out there, right? A lot of people, they have a good social media game. I'm posting on Twitter because it's going to go viral. I'm posting on Instagram because it's going to go viral. And you just like by the time you hopped on Twitter, I think at that time the John Wick one was going crazy. So like you already had stuff going crazy because you had the John Wick joint, you had the Popeyes joint that was going crazy. I think you did the Old Man Ash, but the one I think that I saw a lot of people jumping onto was the Calvin and Hobbes versus Dr. Robin. Like that one was going crazy too.
Yeah. I mean, I go crazy. It seems like, so I created that like 10, 11 years ago.
Right.
And it never stopped. People have not stopped talking about that since I put that up online. So I was like, you know what, I should just put it up again. But talk, have narrate on top of it. And so I made a video with Captain and Hobbes versus Christopher Robins and Winnie the Pooh and all that stuff, and I just narrated on top of it. I don't know, man. I was like, what the hell is going on? People like, so yeah, I put it up on TikTok, and it got like almost 1 million views, and I don't know, close to 200,000 likes on there.
Well, your Food Wars was a repost as well. Because I saw like when you recently just posted it, and somebody said, "Hey man, why are you reposting it?" And you was like, "Well, some people didn't see it before, so I just reposting it." And that's when it like took off crazy. Because even when we talk,
dude, you do your research, man. You're good.
I'm on it.
This is a comment I made like it's deep down in the. Where do you find this?
Hey man. It makes for a good conversation because it lets you know, and that's why I always like to bring all the people that I've interviewed is people that I became either fans of or I am a fan of, because I want that conversation to be like that. I don't want it to be kind of, I want you to know that like I truly like once we become fans of people, we truly do that work and go into it. And that's why I was like, you know what, we did the post. I was like, we did a whole segment on our podcast about it. And then I was like, I'm gonna interview bro. And we're gonna get him out there because like I like to champion the people that I see is doing the work. And I was so fascinated by that. I was so fascinated how like, okay, like, all right, let me see like what he's been doing prior to it. And I'm like, man, he doesn't even have a lot of interviews, but I'm like, but he should. And I was like, wait, he just got on Twitter? I'm surprised because where he's at, you would think that he's been on Twitter for months on, for years and years on, but he hasn't. So I'm like, it's just the work. The work is catching those legs, and that makes sense why Warner Brothers reached out to you. It wasn't you campaigning, tagging, telling your fan base, hey, everybody tag Warner Brothers. No, Warner Brothers saw it and was like, we need to speak to bro. And I thought I was fascinated by that story of it.
Yeah, man. Dude. One of the reasons why I wasn't on Twitter because I didn't understand Twitter. I was like, what? Plus, last time I used it, which was like a long time ago. I don't remember. It was, like, I think it was when it first came out. It was like, what are you doing? I was like, why do you want to know what I'm doing? This is invasive. And so I was like, you know what? I don't like that question. And so I stopped using it. But that's one of the reasons why I didn't use my real name in the first place on the internet, right?
Right.
I used Kaiser from Kaiser Sose from The Usual Suspects.
Yep.
Is because I didn't trust the internet, and so a lot of the reasons on why I wasn't on a lot of the social networking platforms is because I just didn't trust them. You know, but now I have some trust in Twitter. My friends are on it. And they say it's good. You should get on it. Yeah. And I was like, okay. My friends don't talk like that, by the way. I don't know why I'm doing that impression. but yeah. But yeah, man, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all these. I'm addicted now, dude. I'm on TikTok, ArtStation. Yeah, you can find me everywhere.
Yeah. Is that weird though now? Like you said, that because of how like the distrust that you had in the internet, and possibly because not having such a spotlight on you, but now that you're getting more traction, not only from the industry but from a fan's perspective. How, like, is that different for you? Like, how are you dealing with that type of situation?
I'm surprised a lot of the times. I'm like, what? Okay, I guess you guys like that. Because sometimes I think of things that maybe is a little too far-fetched, or is a little too maybe some people won't be able to grasp it as much. Maybe it's a little too or slightly abstract. Right. Like I did one based on Frozen, and I connected every Christmas character in Frozen to every Christmas character, like Santa Claus and Frosty the Snowman and the Abominable Snowman, to peak characters in Snowman. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna get this, but I'll put it up. It went well. I mean, people are definitely they're like, my mind is blown. Oh my god. Like, wow, what's going on? I can't believe he said this. So yeah, that I'm usually surprised majority of the time. I'm very happy, very gracious. That's mostly the feelings that I have majority of the time. I'm a pretty optimistic person, as I don't know if you can tell. Yeah. I'm not only very nonchalant, but I'm optimistic. I try to. That's how I usually feel about all this stuff. It's good things.
Do you recall what was your first post that went viral?
First post, probably the Calvin and no, it was I was developing a show with Warner Brothers, Batman show, and they couldn't produce it because Cartoon Network didn't want anything dark at that time, I believe. I think that's what the story was. So when and so later in years later on, I had posted it online on this community of artists called Deviant Art.
Yeah, I love Deviant Art.
Yeah, people put that Batman drawing and the other Batman drawings that I did for the development of that show everywhere. They put it up on BuzzFeed and on, like fan sites, and it's got thousands of comments and likes and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh shoot, wait a minute. I was a little afraid. Yeah, I was like, should I have put this up? Because everybody's talking about it. And I don't know if Warner Brothers is gonna be upset. But yeah, no, that was the first thing, and then the Calvin and Hobbes thing that I put up, they thought that was interesting, especially after I had like my own little stories based on, So a lot of things. It's very interesting what people are interested in.
Yeah, people get into it.
That I'm interested in.
All right, so we're going to get into what we do. We always do 2 top 5s, right? I try to get a little bit more insight into you, and then we do like a recommendation, something that you want to recommend to our listeners and everything, and that's how we kind of wrap it up. So I want to start with, because you are in that animator, I always try to get one in your field. Who are the top 5 animators, character designers for you?
Top 5, and dude,
Sometimes it's a tough question.
Yeah, I like. I don't know if you guys know who Phil Barassa is, but Phil Barassa is incredible animator who worked on this show called Young Justice. So I also got to be a character designer on Young Justice.
What? I love Young Justice.
Yeah. Phil Barassa he's the lead character designer of the show, and
Dope.
and so he thought that me and my style and his style was slightly similar, and he thought, I can get on that show after Batman, after developing the Batman show, and so that's what I worked on with him. And shoot, dude, I'm terrible with names. I don't really know too many names. I'm the worst with names, man. Shoot, I like it all, man. Ken Ryu is he's the executive producer on Legend of Korra. He's also a really good friend of mine. The reason why the style of Korra looks the way it does is because of him.
Legend of Korra get a lot of flack, but like I said, I rock.
It definitely. I mean, but the animation is crazy.
Right.
Studio Mirror, I'm like ridiculous. I haven't. I've only seen the first two seasons, so I don't know what other people are talking about.
It's more the story. I don't think it's anything about how it looks.
Okay.
Because the original Avatar story was so captivating and so so I think that they got issues with that.
Okay. Yeah. They also worked on. Joaquim de Santos. Joaquim de Santos is one of the. So I'll tell you some of the people that got me into animation in the first place was Joaquim de Santos, Lauren Montgomery, Keanu Ryu, Sam Liu, and Phil Barassa. Right? These people are the big reason on why I work in animation as an artist. Joaquim de Santos was one of the producers and then the executive producers of Avatar. And Lauren Montgomery also was. And then they went on to be the executive producers on Korra and then Voltron.
Nice.
For DreamWorks. And now Joaquim de Santos is one of the directors of Spider-Verse, right?
Okay, that's dope. Yeah, that's super dope.
Yeah, great friend, awesome dude, incredibly talented. One of my favorite character designers ever.
Nice.
Dude is incredibly talented. He doesn't know how good he is. I keep telling him every time I see him, "You're talented. I don't care. Stop talking about anything else."
Hey, I'm like so one of my podcast hosts, he's Puerto Rican. So he would kill me if I was if I wouldn't ask you. If you can put in a good word, we would love to talk to him as well, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, man.
We would love to get him on this platform, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you ever did you ever speak to Chris Copeland?
No, we have not. No, we have not.
Okay.
So the only artists that we've been able to speak with, you, Carl Jones, Marco Bernard, and Justin Richburg.
Okay. All right. I'll introduce you to some other incredibly.
Hey, man, we like I said, we always want to be able to put our platform on there, and just kind of like talk to the people. Like I said, the people that you should know. These are people that people should really know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, like, dude, I'm happy that you got this platform. Like I said. But yeah, man. Lauren Montgomery. I love Sam Liu, Chris Copeland. His brother Justin Copeland. These are the two brothers that's gonna just kill everything in the future. They're two black, incredibly talented storyboard artists, character designers, directors, producers now, working at DreamWorks, and you're gonna hear their names really soon, man. But yeah, man. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you did. All right. So the last top 5. So this one to be a little bit more easier for you in general. What are your top 5 cartoons, animes that for you?
My top 5. Let me see. Damn it. This is a hard one too, man.
What?
Yeah.
I thought this one would be a little bit easier.
Nah, man, this is hard, dude. The amount of cartoons that I love.
I know.
Let's see. Shite. Cops. I don't know if you remember Cops from back in the day. Bulletproof, and it's crime. It's remember Cops from back in the cartoon?
They had a cartoon.
Not Cops, but you're not Cops. Bad Boys. Not that Cops. Not the one that we all know about with their.
Oh yes, I forgot all about this cartoon, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about this cartoon.
Dude, Cops is like the shite, man. It's like my favorite cartoons.
Oh, they had the robotic dog in it. Hey, I forgot all about this joint.
Dude.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't agree with was the black dude with curl in his hair. I was like,
He had the
I don't know what is he putting in his hair? Is he got sperm? Or process? I don't know. But it was at the time when the Soul Train was hot.
Mm-hmm.
He probably had that. Yeah, definitely the sheen.
Right.
But,
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Cops, and then Bionic 6.
Okay.
I also liked Batman Beyond. Big fan of Batman the Animated Series.
Yep.
Gargoyles.
I love Gargoyles need to make a comeback. There's two cartoons that I'm like, I want to see a reimagining or a new version of Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck. I fucking love Darkwing Duck.
yeah. I think they're gonna bring back Darkwing Duck.
They are. I must have missed that.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, because are you watching DuckTales?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you noticed Darkwing Duck in some of the episodes of DuckTales.
So I'm probably like, I haven't watched like a lot of the newer episodes, so I still got to catch up on because we've been binging so much stuff. Like right now, Lovecraft is going on, so we've been watching that in The Boys, so that way we can continue to report on it. But
that's awesome. I love most of those shows. I've seen
All right, so last question. Recommendation. So it can be either something that you're watching, something that you're reading, something that you're listening to, but something that you would think our listeners should check out.
Go to my TikTok page.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rep myself out here in these streets.
Self-promo is key.
But yeah, I got some stories that you guys probably would be interested in. It's Coran Stone on TikTok. CoranKizer Stone STONE on TikTok. I have if you have a popular story, a popular thing that is my own takes on these stories. Right now, I have one that I'm connecting Freddy Krueger with Poltergeist, Stranger Things, all this other stuff. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Also, I'm doing something where everyone has their own inner face, inner mask that they don't show to everyone else, and so I'm drawing that. I'm drawing their mask. They're real. So come to my TikTok and enjoy some of this stuff, and also my Instagram and Facebook.
Well, I was going to say, let's get into it. Where can people find you?
On Instagram, it's Kizerilla, Kizerilla. On Facebook, Coran Kizer Stone. You can find me as Coran Kizer Stone on pretty much all the social media platforms, except for Instagram, that's Kizerilla. And that's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, this has been the Geek Set Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I've been your boy Deuces. This has been Kizerilla, and we are out. Peace.
You like that video? Man, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. We got so many more videos on our page, so make sure you check them out over here. Hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell so that way you can always be notified anytime we release a new video. You already know how Geek Set get down. We got so much coming for y'all, man. Check it out. Stay in tune.
There was a time where hip-hop culture and geek culture were at odds.